Social media influencer Douglas Mackey has been sentenced to 7 months in prison for interfering with the 2016 election and is the latest interviewee on the Tucker Carlson show on X. Here's a refresher if you need it. The Justice Department announced that Mackey, who went by the name Ricky Vaughn on social media, was handed a 7-month prison sentence after being convicted at trial for conspiracy against rights. Mackey, who was a supporter of former President Trump, was convicted of running a scam in 2016 that allegedly fooled thousands of people into believing that they could vote by text message.
The DOJ alleged Mackey conspired to, quote, injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate one or more persons in the free exercise and enjoyment of a right and privilege secured to them by the Constitution and laws of the United States, to wit, the right to vote. Here's Tucker introducing the issue on his show.
If someone had told you even 10 years ago that you could be indicted by the federal government and go to prison for 10 years for making fun of Hillary Clinton on social media, you would not have believed it. It's a free country. We have free speech. But it turns out not only is that possible, it has likely become much more common because the actual war is over information. One of its first casualties is a man called Doug Mackey, who during the 2016 election made fun of Hillary Clinton on Twitter, and then a few years later found himself the subject of a federal raid, an indictment, and then a conviction. I want to put this up. You posted this on Twitter. This is a meme. It says, "Save time, avoid the line, vote from home," and it's got a picture of Hillary Clinton. Text Hillary to this number. Did you make this meme?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't create this?
No.
Where'd it come from?
I found it on 4chan.
Okay, so it was floating around the internet.
Yeah, these kind of memes were floating all over the place.
And you posted it on Twitter. What was the point of that?
Well, pardon my French, but it was called a shitpost.
Yeah.
We talked about this a lot at the trial. I testified. Just sort of a joke, rile up everybody, muddy the waters, and mostly just because I thought my audience would find it funny.
Here's some more of Tucker's conversation with Mackey. Let's take a look.
So we have to, and I want to play this. This is from Hillary Clinton. This is from this April, so long after you were indicted, long after you went on trial. And this is Hillary Clinton describing that meme.
There was just a trial in Brooklyn where a guy who had been one of the main, I guess he was one of the main people running memes against me in 2016. Mm-hmm. He went from what you could consider free speech. I mean, both Nancy and I have pretty thick skins. People say all kinds of things about us. But he went from that to running a very deliberate effort to mislead people about where and how to vote. Yeah. So it went from speech to action meant to subvert the election because thousands of people who they targeted through their algorithms, oh, I can text my vote for Hillary Clinton.
So Hillary Clinton, I want to deconstruct that in some greater detail in a minute, but Hillary Clinton apparently took that very seriously. You were using, quote, algorithms to subvert the election with that meme.
I don't even really know what she means by that. I don't know how, I guess you post something and it gets taken up into algorithms. I'm not exactly sure. I was surprised that she said that.
Did you have personal algorithms that you used?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just copy, paste, and click a button.
So this guy is going to spend 7 months in prison over this. He was facing up to 10 years, all over reposting what is obviously a joke meme from 4chan. I find this incredibly concerning and disturbing. These types of memes regarding voting by text were pretty prevalent during the 2016 election on both sides, and it was universally acknowledged that these were a joke because conceivably no one would be stupid enough to actually believe that you could vote via text. The fact that only one person got swept up in actually being prosecuted over this, and it's someone who didn't even make the meme in the first place. He simply reposted it once as a joke. And now Hillary Clinton is accusing him of some sophisticated vote suppression effort. is just beyond the pale. And I really feel for this guy who, as he said, was S-posting on Twitter throughout the election because he supported Trump. Never imagined that he would be going to jail for simply exercising his free speech rights on social media.
I can imagine the courtroom, this guy just saying, Your Honor, I was just posting. Hillary Clinton framing this as he was running memes against me tells you just how literate she is when it comes to being online. But I really think the outside's focused on this by Hillary Clinton, which is rich considering her history within the Democratic Party, subverting the progressive vote. But just the Democratic establishment as a whole, people who care about the integrity of elections, being more upset about this scheme. I do think maybe it was intentional, but I don't think it's as severe as when we consider there are more polling places open in, Milwaukee than in Madison. When we think about, or rather more polling places were open in Madison than Milwaukee, despite Milwaukee being more populous, when we consider what happened just this past Tuesday in Mississippi, a state that's 40% black, and around the city of Jackson in Hinds County, you had polling places just run out of ballots and people's vote not counted. So the voter suppression's built into the system. It's much more convenient, I think, to focus on this individual and focus on the memes than focus on the real problems with the electoral process in the country and really how people are disenfranchised because we have chosen to focus on this instead of investing in election integrity. But even candidates like Hillary Clinton, who make a big deal about this, are probably the exact same people who benefit from there being more places to vote in Madison than in Milwaukee. These are people who want to subvert the progressive vote within their party. And so I just think it's a distraction to focus on this instead of the real problems.
Yeah, it certainly seems like this is just more of Hillary Clinton's bitterness that she didn't win in 2016. She wants to go after someone who has relatively little power. Yeah, he had a lot of followers on Twitter. I remember him being on the platform back in 2016. I'm pretty sure I followed him and he followed me. And everybody knew that this was a satirical account. Everybody knew this was a pro-Trump account. It would be the equivalent of someone in 2020 seeing a meme from Cat Turd and saying, oh yeah, this guy's telling me how to vote for Joe Biden. I mean, it really is that inconsequential and that stupid, this one meme that he posted. And Hillary is going off on this tear and encouraging the prosecution and sentencing of him over his free speech rights. It's incredibly disturbing, but unfortunately par for the course for her because she's so obsessed with power and so obsessed with destroying her political enemies. I also think it's worth mentioning that Douglas Mackey was not even charged immediately after posting this meme. This wasn't an investigation that happened shortly after the 2016 election. Instead, Hillary loses, Trump takes office. Then years later, Joe Biden gets inaugurated, and it's 7 days after Biden's inauguration that Douglas Mackey is arrested for this supposed crime of meme posting. And I think that makes it even clearer that this was an act of revenge, an act of showing people who supported Trump online that Hillary Clinton has not forgotten about you, and her and the political establishment are going to do everything they can to silence you. And to me, this is a message to other people who don't agree with the establishment, who support outsider candidates at the expense of the political establishment, that they're going to come after you. This is an attempt to try to chill speech among those people who are posting subversive content.
It's incredibly personal for Hillary Clinton. This is not, I care so much about everyone's voice being heard in our democracy and them enjoying their right to vote. This is about Hillary Clinton coming up for excuses as to why she didn't get the vote she needed to win in key swing states where her electoral votes were really needed for her to secure the presidency. She doesn't want to admit that she failed as a candidate. And she should be very aware that this is reality, considering she was using her personal funds and she had control over the account of the Victory Fund in the DNC and Bernie Sanders' staff in Iowa in the first caucus, where it was pretty clear that Hillary would not be victorious there. that they took away the Voter Action Network, the political tool used to follow up with voters and remind them to vote on Election Day. She took it away from the Bernie Sanders campaign. The DNC revoked their access to it just weeks before the caucus. I mean, it's very obvious that she wanted to subvert the vote of the Progressive Party, but it's only a problem when the vote's being subverted if it was going to her as a candidate. And I think that kind of political bias is exactly why she lost. I think everyone knew she was an opportunist who only cared about her political career. But I think everyone's exhausted from having this Hillary Clinton I lost tour that's been going on for 7 years. I think we're tired of just seeing Hillary Clinton do interviews. I don't want to hear her anymore.
I know. I'm actually really glad you brought up her subversive attempts on the progressive vote in 2015 in the primary, because her tone when she says this guy, Douglas Mackey, was running memes against me was exactly the way that she talked about the so-called Bernie bros and their alleged misogyny in their online attacks against her. She really does have contempt for anyone who doesn't celebrate her with fully open arms. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you, Jessica. It was great to be with you. And we will be back next Friday, of course.
Matching unintentionally again, maybe?
Always. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thanks, and we'll see you next Friday.
Bye, y'all.